guess first of all, just start off with the idea that the film's pacing of Batman does not show up until an hour into this film, gets his ass beat, and then leaves the film for another 40 minutes, and then finally shows up at the end. So whoever said that Christian Bale's Batman voice in this film wasn't bad is full of shit. The reason it's not as bad as it was before is because he barely speaks as Batman in this film.
Times he was Batman, it sounded ridiculous.
It's still way too much, but
between
there was a little bit too much of that. Thankfully, I will say there was one moment late in the movie where he actually this annoyed the shit out of me in Dark Knight, where he, even though he's talking to someone that knows he's fucking Batman, he still talks in the Batman voice. It's like, you don't need to do it. At least there was one time in this film at the end where he actually did speak in the Bruce voice. And I was like, thank you. At least once they did that. We had a little cameo by Liam Neeson, which was nice to see.
Cool, yeah. The whole hallucination thing.
Yeah, he's climbing out of the
prison pit.
The prison pit, which was pretty good. It was a little long-winded, but it had to set up the third act of the film. So again, necessary evil for stuff like that. Man, his fight with Bane, where Bane broke his back, broke it or whatever. He made some vertebrae. I guess that's
made
all
a
really did.
vertebrae protrude from his back.
Yeah, it was really, really, really brutal. Also, the whole Bane backstory, it was okay. It served its purpose. The reveal that Miranda Tate is actually Talia al Ghul. Some girl in our audience screamed, they're like, "Yes, I knew it!" Which was very funny. Mary and everyone else are a bunch of liars because they basically just outright said that wasn't going to be the case. She's like, no, I was just pregnant. I can't do any action scenes. I'm not playing Talia.
And she didn't really do many action
scenes. No,
she
really didn't do a lot. All the earlier stuff in the movie where she seems kind of like a throwaway character. I know we were saying that she was good, and served like a purpose that the movie needed. But honestly, the fact that she becomes the kind of like the villain by the end helps the character in the earlier parts of the film, where she just seems like a love interest, like Rachel. I thought at least softened the blow on that stuff a little bit. The whole Catwoman thing, it was typical Catwoman, where she seems to be a villain, but seems to be going down the middle, but eventually does, I guess kind of like fall for Bruce and everything like that. So I didn't mind that. So Robin, that's who Joseph Gordon-Levitt ends up being.
Yep.
The audience cheer when he was Robin. Is it a little cheesy? Somehow it didn't feel a little cheesy.
Well, you know what did... Alright, here's what felt cheesy. I'm going to disagree with you on that, because before I forget my thought, here's what felt cheesy. At the end of the movie, he picks up some personal effects from the old boys' home, which he used to be a part of, and he uses his government name, which they don't have on record, and he says, "Try my real name," and it says... Then the lady says, "You should use your real name. It's much nicer. Robin."
Yeah.
And, being a comic book fan or whatever, we all know that wasn't, like, his real name. It was, Dick Grayson.
There was a couple of different names for him, but yeah.
It's just like, that wasn't, that was like a nickname for him. It was kind of silly. Plus, the character, like I said, was a little bit too straight-laced. We all know that.
I like the character.
And I don't want to bring it back to the Batman Forever days, where, Dick Grayson was just like a whiny little bitch, but...
Chris O'Donnell.
Sorry, but it just seemed like a whole new character to me. Did it bother me that much? No, but it was just like...
It really didn't bother me at all, which actually I did find a little surprising, because, I can understand if someone says that they did find it cheesy. It didn't for me. It did for you a little bit. That's fine. What was not good was the useless cop played by Matthew Modine. It was just an extremely cliched role, complete throwaway role. He gets killed. I didn't give a shit that he did. I really didn't care. Yeah. Also, Cillian Murphy, who plays Crane, the executioner in this movie.
The kangaroo court judge.
Yeah.
Exile or death.
Yeah.
Fine, death by exile.
Yeah, very, very funny.
Very good.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene definitely had to be just the scene like I was talking about before, where Bane's in front of the courthouse explaining to everybody that he's doing this for the people. Like, there will be blood. And anytime he sort of reacts to anything that happens, he's never like surprised or anything. I killed you. Tom Hardy's performance was just fantastic. If anybody else played it, they would have screwed it up, honestly. Like, he was the only person with that sort of deranged feeling. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go see Bronson. And I might put a link in the description, but just like that deranged sort of, I don't see what's wrong with what...
Mom needed you. I needed you. You're my big brother. You bailed on me.
I was a 16-year-old kid. What the hell did I know?
You had a choice, okay? You had a choice.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right, Warrior. I keep forgetting. Most of you would probably know him from Warrior.
Mine would probably just be the first Bane Batman fight, where he just baits the shit out of him. They even did the whole, he lift above his head and break him over the knee thing, which was great. That's not to take away the fight at the end of the movie, which was really ferocious, and it was nice to see Batman beat him. It did happen a little too easily. He finally just started hitting him in the face.
Yeah.
Why he wouldn't do that in the first time. And, well, he didn't. So what?
Yeah.
And as far as the way the film ended,
I was happy with it.
Yeah, I was fine with it. They shot the earlier cafe scene in IMAX, and I thought that was strange because the camera went from IMAX to like regular throughout the film, but they shot the earlier cafe scene that when Alfred was talking about visiting stuff in IMAX, which I thought was very odd. Why would they do that? And clearly the reason they did it is because they also did it at the end of the movie too. Then I was a little worried when Bruce kind of blew up. The bat blew up with the nuclear bomb. Which again, it's very kind of not. I guess if you want to call it cliched. I mean, hell, they had Adam West running around with a bomb like that into the water in the original Batman film. So, and a ticking bomb isn't exactly original, but Nolan's earned his lack of originality, I think, sometimes. They even left it open if they actually ever wanted to keep Gordon Levitt on. I don't think they're going to.
No, I don't think that would work as well. These movies are spectacle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not.
And a reboot would have to be its own thing.
Yeah. Overall, if I had to give this a rating right now, like it's a 9.8. There's just so much to absorb the first time. I feel like I missed a lot, and I'm sure that there's a lot of like Easter eggs and nuances that are still there to be discovered. So the rewatchability of this movie and the rewatchability of the trilogy is tremendously high.
Yeah.
When the box set comes out, I'm sure there'll be a lot of extra content, interviews from all the cast members and crew and directors and producers and things. Overall, this is one of the first comic book movie adaptations that just goes and does it right 3 times in a row, and it just gets better with each iteration, and I feel it wrapped up perfectly.
I'd say like a solid 9, just for the fact that if I gave it a 10, I know it'll probably drop down to a 9. There are enough plot holes. How the fuck did Bruce get back from India? These are minor problems, but they are problems, and the movie deserves, to get taken down a little bit of a peg because of it. 9 out of 10, and I'm sure it'll stay that way. The Avengers was a lot of fun, incredible, real lot of fun movie, but this is a whole different kind. The Avengers doesn't have a shot at Best Picture next year. This one
does.
I think it does, yeah. I think